Hey guys, Mr. Aker. So today we're going to talk about multiplying fractions. Now we're also going to talk about rational numbers, positive, negatives. We're also going to talk about fractions because that's what your assignment is on. So kind of pay careful attention to not only the fraction part, but what we do with positive, negative, which what we're going to do first. So when we work with positive, negative numbers, the first and most important thing to know and look at is to be able to tell when something is negative. When you have, say, two positive numbers like 4 times 4, that's obviously 16. That's a positive number because you're taking positive times positive, which is a positive number. But what happens when you have a negative value? Say, like, instead of a positive times a positive 4, we take negative 4. So, positive 4 times negative 4. Well, multiplying by a negative makes something opposite because on a number line, if this is 0, the positives are here, but the opposite of that, negatives are over here. So the opposite of a positive number is a negative number. So this turns out to be negative 16. Well, what happens if I take two negatives? Negative times negative, so negative 4 times negative 4. Well, what's the opposite of a negative? If this is negative and you have to multiply it by an opposite, well, the opposite of a negative is a positive. So this is positive 16. Now there is a general rule here where when you have a number of negatives that you have to multiply or divide, what you have to do is just simply follow this rule. If there is an odd number of negative numbers, your answer is negative. If there is an even number of negatives, then your answer is positive. So like on the other one, when it's 4 times negative 4, that was one negative. That's an odd number. 1, 3, 5, and so on, those are odd numbers. But if there's 0 or an even number of negatives, say like 2 of them, 4 of them, or 6 of them, when we had negative 4 times negative 4, that's 2 negative numbers, your answer is going to be positive because that's an even number of negatives. So that's an important thing to remember when you're determining whether something is positive or negative. Now we're going to do a couple of fractions here, and we're going to combine the positives and the negatives together. So, first of all, let's just figure out how to do a fraction that is multiplied. So let's just say I've got 1/2 times 3/4. Okay, now both are positive, so the answer is going to be positive. But we don't do anything like cross multiplication because people get confused with that. What we do is we just simply multiply the two numerators and the two denominators together. Okay, and then we come up with our answer. Numerators stay on the numerator. 1 times 3, you put it in the numerator spot. That's 3. 2 times 4 is 8. And that's your answer right there. So let's try one with one negative. So let's say negative 2/3 times, let's just say 6/7, positive 6/7. How many negatives are there? Well, there's one negative. Here's your one negative. So I know right away my answer is going to be negative. And then I just take and multiply my, that might look like a plus there. Let me change that, make it look better. My numerator, my denominator. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 7 is 21. Now, you can leave it like this, but you may have to simplify it. So what number goes into both 12 and 21 besides 1? Well, 3 does. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So we're just going to put divide by 3 because that's the common multiple there. And then 21 divided by 3 would be 7. So the answer here, I'm going to write it up here, is a negative 4 over 7. Okay? To put negatives there. So negative 4 over 7, because that 1 that I multiplied was negative. Let's do another example. You can always go back and, I use rewind, but you can, just go back and watch different parts of the video. Let's say that I've got negative 5/6 times, make a negative look a little better there. There we go. Negative 8/9, so a little bit bigger one. First thing I want to determine is it positive or negative? I got a negative times a negative. That's 2 negatives. And in my rule, if it's an even number of negatives, my answer is going to be positive. So negative times negative is positive. Then I just go ahead and I multiply these two values. 5 times 8 is 40. 6 times 9 is 54. And I can simplify that. Now, if you have to do this a couple times, that's okay. But, if you have to just do very simple number simplification. So each of these is divisible by 2. Okay? There's nothing wrong with keeping it simple. That's actually probably the most logical way to do it. 40 divided by 2 is 20. Put it up here. Go up a little bit there so I can see it. 20. 54 divided by 2 is 27. Now in this case, the only numbers that go into 27 are 1, 3, 9, and 27. So this is actually simplified. Okay? I'm going to do one more. Yeah, so there was 20 over 27. Okay. Let's do 3/7 times, let's do 5/11. Oh, sorry, let me change that. Let's do negative 5/11. So negative 5 over 11. Now, positive times negative. There is one negative here, so my answer is going to be negative. 3 times 5 is 15. 7 times 11 is 77. I'm pretty sure that that can't be taken down any. 2 doesn't go into 77 or 15 because they're both odd. 3 goes into 15, but I don't think it goes into, see here. No, it doesn't go into 77. So I think this is simplified actually. So negative 15 over 77. So if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Beyond that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.